Courtrooms are designed to be places of order, fairness, and justice, sanctuaries where the law prevails over emotion. But sometimes, the weight of a tragedy and the rawness of human grief push the limits of that order. Picture this: a room heavy with tension, families grieving unbearable losses, and defendants facing the consequences of their actions. Suddenly, control slips away, and chaos takes hold. A father's heartbreak becomes fury. An inmate makes a daring escape, and emotions boil over into unforgettable disruptions. Today, we'll look into 3 courtrooms where moments of decorum were shattered by raw human emotion and desperation. From a father's desperate attack on his son's accused killer to an inmate's audacious flight for freedom, these stories reveal how the human heart can challenge even the strictest halls of justice. Join us as we uncover these gripping incidents and the profound emotions that turned calm into chaos. In a Cincinnati courtroom, the air is heavy with grief and tension. Deshaun Brown stands trial for charges including 2 counts of murder, felonious assault, and tampering with evidence. He is accused of a horrific crime: killing his girlfriend, Nitisha Lattimore, and throwing her 3-year-old son, Nilo, into the Ohio River while he is still alive. Prosecutors argue that Brown meticulously planned the attack, motivated by a mistaken belief that Nitisha had ended a pregnancy without telling him. Nitisha's body was found in December 2020 near a bridge, stabbed multiple times. Authorities pieced together the grim details of the case. After killing Nitisha, Brown reportedly stuffed her body into a bag and left it in the apartment for days before disposing of it. Nilo, an innocent child, was then taken from the apartment and tragically thrown into the river. For Antonio Hughes, Nilo's father, the loss is unimaginable. The absence of his son's body leaves him in a state of perpetual grief, unable to find closure. As he sits in the courtroom, he faces the man accused of committing these horrific acts. The weight of the tragedy hangs heavily over the room, thickening the air with sorrow and tension. As the hearing goes on, Hughes can no longer hold back his emotions. Suddenly, he leaps from his seat and charges towards Deshaun Brown. In an instant, he begins punching Brown repeatedly in the head and neck. Gasps fill the courtroom as officers spring into action, rushing to restrain Hughes and separate him from Brown against the officers, his raw pain and anger driving him to try to break free. The chaotic scene unfolds in front of a stunned courtroom, captured on surveillance footage. The footage shows Hughes' desperate attempt to confront the man accused of taking his son's life. His fury is on full display, and his actions reflect the deep grief of a father consumed by loss. Order is quickly restored, but the impact of the incident lingers. Antonio Hughes is taken out of the courtroom and charged with contempt of court. Judge Megan Shanahan, presiding over the hearing, addresses the outburst with measured authority. She sentences Hughes to 7 days in the Hamilton County Justice Center, emphasizing the need to maintain decorum. However, in a later hearing, the judge shows compassion for Hughes' situation. After considering the emotional toll the case has taken on him, she reduces his sentence. Hughes is released after serving only 2 days, a decision that reflects an understanding of the immense pain he is carrying. The incident highlights the emotional weight families carry when seeking justice for their loved ones. Antonio Hughes' actions are born from unimaginable pain. They reveal the fragile balance courtrooms must maintain between upholding the law and acknowledging the human suffering that often unfolds within their walls. On September 22, 2020, the Highland County Common Pleas Court in Hillsboro, Ohio, convened for a routine sentencing hearing. The defendant, 34-year-old Nicholas Kyle Garrison, stands before Judge Rocky Koss, awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to aggravated possession of methamphetamine. The courtroom maintains its usual decorum as Garrison receives a 6-month prison sentence for his offense. As the proceeding concludes, deputies move to take Garrison into custody to begin his sentence. The atmosphere remains calm, with standard procedures unfolding as expected. However, The routine nature of the day is about to be turned upside down by an unforeseen act. In a sudden and unanticipated move, Garrison breaks free from the deputy's grasp and bolts toward the courtroom door. Surveillance footage captured the ensuing chaos. Garrison sprints through the hallway with deputies and court bailiff on hot pursuit. The chase leads to a stairwell, where Deputy Ben Reno makes a split-second decision to leap over the banister in an attempt to apprehend Garrison. Tragically, Reno's efforts result in a severe fall, causing him to slide down the stairs and sustain injuries, including broken ribs and a minor concussion. Garrison's escape doesn't end there. He manages to exit the courthouse, evading immediate capture and prompting a manhunt. The incident, captured on video, quickly spreads across media platforms, drawing significant public attention and concern. The Highland County Sheriff's Office swiftly initiates a search for Garrison, enlisting assistance from the neighboring law enforcement agencies. The community is alerted, and tips begin to flow in. After nearly 4 days on the run, authorities receive credible information leading them to a motel in Clinton County. In the early hours of September 25th, 2020, officers apprehend Garrison without incident, bringing an end to the brief but intense manhunt. Garrison's escape attempt resulted in additional legal repercussions. A Highland County grand jury indicted him on a charge of escape, a third-degree felony, and 2 counts of assault on a peace officer, fourth-degree felonies. These charges compound his existing sentence, reflecting the severity of his actions and their impact on court personnel. In June 2021, Garrison pleaded guilty to the escape and assault charges, as well as 2 separate counts of aggravated possession of methamphetamine and a fentanyl-related compound. The court sentences him to an additional 6 years in prison, showing the serious consequences of attempting to flee justice and endangering law enforcement officers in the process. The courtroom escape not only disrupts judicial proceedings, but also places law enforcement and the public at risk. Garrison's actions lead to injuries, a multi-agency manhunt, and additional legal expenses. The incident prompts a re-evaluation of courtroom security protocols to prevent future occurrences. On April 4th, 2014, the Miami-Dade County Criminal Court was filled with anticipation and sorrow as the trial of Lucas Kendall unfolds. Kendall, a 26-year-old former security guard, stands accused of second-degree murder for the fatal shooting of 28-year-old Kejuan Bird and the attempted second-degree murder of Michael Smathers. The incident occurred on June 1, 2012, in the parking lot of a Club Lex, a strip club in northwest Miami-Dade. Kendall claims he acted in self-defense, alleging that he felt threatened by Bird and Smathers, whom he suspected of rolling marijuana in their vehicle. However, evidence indicates that Kendall fired multiple shots, including several into Bird's back as he crawled under a truck seeking cover. The courtroom is intense, with family members of the victims present seeking justice for their loved ones. Among them is Donald Bird, Kejuan's father, who listened intently as the proceedings unfold, grappling with the loss of his son and the circumstances surrounding his death. As the trial progresses, emotions run high. Kendall, representing himself, makes statements that exacerbate the tension. He stands and directs his anguish towards Kendall, exclaiming,
"I murdered my son, man, for nothing. When he was trying to get away from you, you were trying to get away from you, man. And you kept shooting him while his back was under the truck."
The courtroom is momentarily thrown into disorder, and deputies approach Donald Bird, gently escorting him out to restore order. His outburst, though disruptive, shows the profound pain experienced by victims' families during such trials. Following the incident, the court takes measures to maintain decorum. Judge Ellen Sue Venenzier acknowledges the emotional weight of the trial, but emphasizes the necessity of upholding courtroom procedures. She instructs the jury to disregard the outburst, ensuring that it does not influence their deliberations. The trial continues, with Kendall persisting in his self-defense claim. However, the prosecution presents compelling evidence, including testimonies and forensic analysis, challenging Kendall's narrative and highlighting inconsistencies in his account. On September 14, 2015, the jury reached a verdict, finding Kendall guilty of second-degree murder for the death of Kejuan Bird and attempted second-degree murder for the shooting of Michael Smathers, who survived but was left paralyzed. Kendall is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 30 years for the attempted murder charge. The verdict brings a measure of justice to the victims' families, though the emotional scars remain. This case highlights the intense emotional strain endured by families of victims during criminal trials. While the court strives to maintain order and impartiality, the raw grief of those affected by violent crimes often surfaces, challenging the boundaries of courtroom decorum. These courtroom incidents reveal the undeniable tension between the structured nature of the legal system and the unpredictable emotions of those involved. From Antonio Hughes' heart-wrenching attack on his son's accused killer, to Nicholas Garrison's daring escape, and Donald Byrd's anguished outburst during his son's murder trial, these moments show how deeply human emotions can ripple through spaces meant for justice and decorum. While courtrooms strive to maintain fairness and control, they are also spaces where the deepest pains of life come to light. The quest for justice often accompanied by the heavy weight of loss, anger, and desperation. That's it for today, everyone. If these stories moved you or made you think, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for more videos like this. Until we meet again, remember to stay safe and keep informed.